I just got some insider information at this conference, and somebody overheard an NYU admissions officer on the phone saying, if a student doesn't have at least a 1500 SAT score, we don't want to see it. Hey guys, Laura Whitmore here with STP, and I am in the beautiful city of New Orleans for the NTPA Winter Workshop. For those of you who don't know, the NTPA stands for the National Test Prep Association, which I'm a member of. I think it's super important as a test prep coach to stay up on industry trends and know the latest information so you can share with your students. And let me tell you guys, I have a ton of juicy information to share with you guys in this video so you can determine if you should take the SAT this year, how you should go about taking the SAT this year. Basically, I hope to answer all the questions you have leading into 2024. So stick around and let's get into it. All right, so 80% of students across the country now have an A average. And what's happening is this is making it really difficult for colleges to be able to determine who is academically ready for their rigorous institutions. So schools are starting to state that assessments are more important in their college admissions process. For instance, in October, Emory announced that it is actually weighing assessments like the SAT and AP exams more heavily than GPA. Dartmouth is strongly encouraging you to submit a score even if you don't fall in the median range because they want to see where you're at with your academic skills. And recently, the former dean of admissions at Cornell stated that if 13 students from the same high school applied to Cornell, 12 of them submitted scores and one did not, they would assume that the student who did not had considerably lower scores than the rest of the group. So that being said, it looks like there is a trend going back towards an emphasis on SAT and ACT, much like schools who've already gone back to a test mandatory policy have, like MIT, Florida, Georgetown, and Tennessee. Here's the problem though. Too many students right now are just unaware of these trends and of the data, and they are not submitting scores when they fall within the median range. This is called MISWITHOLDING. You do not want to fall into this group of a MISWITHOLDING student because if you have strong enough scores to submit to a school, this makes you eligible for merit-based scholarships. You might get actually an automatic acceptance into the school. And there are other perks as well. Honestly, there are certain schools that you apply to where if you get a strong enough SAT or ACT score, you can get a full tuition scholarship. So I recently wrote a blog highlighting the best scholarships for 2023 and 2024. I'm gonna link that right now above and down in the description for you to check out. This will also include schools that give automatic scholarships for certain scores. All right, real quick, if you do plan on taking an SAT or ACT this year and you're not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell below right now so you don't miss out on future content from me. I come out with tips, tricks, strategies, everything you need to know to get your best score before you apply to college. Okay, so why are so many students MISWITHOLDIng? Well, I think a lot of it comes down to the language on the school's websites. If you go to a lot of university websites, for instance, if you check out Princeton's website, they basically state that if you do not submit a score, it will not hurt your chances. However, the data demonstrates something different. So here's something interesting for all you guys. They actually have to release their data for every admission cycle. This is how you can tell if a school is being honest about their test optional policies or not. All you need to do is Google Section C9 Common Data Set, and you can get the data for any university you're interested in applying to. For instance, I looked up MIT's and I got all of this juicy information. I even saw tables of what they think is most important in your application when they're evaluating you. So when you look at this data, you can actually see their admit rates for students who did submit a score and students who did not submit a score. And honestly, some of this data will surprise you. So what about you students that are interested in applying to top tier schools? Well, I just got some insider information at this conference, and somebody overheard an NYU admissions officer on the phone saying, if a student doesn't have at least a 1500 SAT score, we don't want to see it. That being said, if you're trying to apply to one of the top 20 universities, you really want to have a very strong score. So if you're one of those students that's shooting for a 1500 plus, I would say start prepping as soon as possible. You're going to need to give yourself a lot of time in order to improve, because like 2% of students nationwide hit that score. That's 2 out of every 100. So it's not that easy to do. So what I'm doing right now is I'm, for the holiday season, giving away for free my digital SAT English workbook. So much has changed on the SAT since it's gone digital with the English portions. And this workbook gives you strategies and exercises to start honing your skills for this new test. So if you want to get this workbook, go ahead and click the link up here, go to our website, subscribe to our email list, and we will send you a link to get the workbook. I'll also put our website down in the description below. Lastly, if you have a learning disability, should you take these tests, an SAT or ACT, what should you do? The worst thing a test prep coach can say to you if you have an LD is, you should just go test optional, don't submit. This goes back to what I talked about earlier, which is you can get perks for submitting a strong score, including scholarships. So give yourself a chance, keep all your doors open. Now there's a rule, it's called the 3-digit rule. Essentially what that means, if you're scoring less than 1,000 on the SAT, then you should consider taking an ACT instead, especially if you have extra time. Because the biggest barrier students have on the ACT is the time constraints. But if you get time and a half or double time, then that barrier is removed for you, and the ACT could definitely be your jam since it's more learning disability friendly. All right, that's enough out of me, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like button below, and until next time, happy prepping.